Awesome. Today is the release day for Mistonia's Hope, The Lost Delight. And thanks to the awesome folks at Axis Games, I was able to get the game a bit early to play and review. And so I'm going to be streaming it with you guys today, which I'm super excited about. It is a fantasy romance Otome that is inspired by Fae lore. So, in Mistonia's Hope, you play as Aprose E. Randolph, a young woman whose entire family was massacred by the Fairy Queen 8 years ago. She had her entire family taken from her, everything she knew, everything she loved taken away from her. And she, at the ripe old age of 11, decided that she was going to get revenge for the deaths of her family. So she spends the next 8 years training so that she can get revenge. And she makes a deal with the Fae King, Oberon, to get revenge on the queen and the 5 noble houses that were responsible for the murder of her family. So they disguise her as a maid, and she infiltrates one of the noble houses, and she is there looking for information on the incident that happened 8 years ago so that she can rightfully punish everyone that had a hand in it. And that is the plot of Mistonia's Hope. She is literally the best heroine ever. Like, we support women's rights here and their wrongs, but I especially support Aprose because sis is out here justified. But what sets the game apart from other Otome games is you can choose to have 3 very distinct types of endings. And one of them is the typical Otome romance ending where you get the guy, y'all live happily ever after. And the second being a revenge ending. It's called the clown ending. And in those endings, Aprose gets hers. Like, sis does not hold back. I thought I was petty, but I don't know what petty is, because what Aprose does to these guys as part of her revenge plot is diabolical shit. So I forgot to mention this during the live stream, but Mistonia's Hope also has a third ending type called the Astray Ends, where you can set up love triangles between 2 of the characters, and each of the characters is paired off with another, and they will serve as a love rival to the main love interest of each route. The pairs are already set at the start of the game. So there's Edward and Linus, Alfred and Lucas, and Ascot and John. And they're a lot of fun to play through. And I kind of liked having the guys steal you away from the other guys in the middle of the route. It's really fun. Not all of them are romantic, but they are really interesting to see and play through. And even if you're not a fan of love triangles, I definitely recommend playing them if you get the chance. So in the game, there are 6 love interests. All right, so the characters of Mistonia's Hope are: the main heroine is Aprose E. Randolph, and in the game, she is in disguise. So she uses an assumed name throughout the game, and it's Rose Cottingley, which is a reference to the Cottingley Ferry incident. But she goes under the name of Rose when she's in disguise as the maid, and she essentially is the daughter of a duke, and her entire family was massacred by the Fairy Queen. So she vows revenge, and she plans for like 8 years to get her revenge on the Fairy Queen and the 5 noble houses that were responsible for the death of her family. And she is very cutthroat. Like, sis is very much like, I am here to get mine and get my revenge, and that's it. She's no nonsense. She is always looking around for information on the guys so that she can use it against them. Like every time these guys try to get close to her, she uses anything they tell her as a means to fuel her revenge. So she's not very romance oriented. She's not looking for love. She's looking for blood. So it is so hilarious because in Otome games, the heroines will fall for the guys like immediately and they'll just be like fawning over them. And this is like really refreshing to see a heroine who's like over it. She is so over all of it. But that also means that she's kind of naive about like common things that other people would know because her sole focus has been on getting revenge. So she doesn't know a lot about like the world at large. Well, she knows about the political strife within the country, but she doesn't really know like social things. So she doesn't always pick up on social cues in certain situations. So she kind of, when people are being nice to her, she doesn't understand why they're being nice. And she thinks that they want something from her or they're trying to get to know her because they like figured out who she is, but really they just want to be friends. So there's a lot of like misunderstandings and stuff that happen. And it's really funny. Instead of being frustrating, it's kind of funny. And it's played for comedy a lot of the time. And you see her grow and become more of a whole person outside of her revenge as the story progresses, which is really nice to see. The next love interest is Edward Bernstein. He is the next head of the Bernstein house, which is one of the 5 great noble houses that were also responsible for taking her family out. While Ed might not have been 100% involved, she does find him culpable because of his family. He is descended from the Sylph Fae, and I'm not gonna tell you what his powers are because they explain it in the plot, but Ed is really sweet. Ed is like the fairy tale prince. He is so kind and sweet. He's very optimistic and idealistic. He always believes in the best in others. And he's got such a great heart. Like, he's one of those characters that they seem almost too good to be true. So I spent a lot of his route expecting him to have like this big heel turn where he was like secretly a dastardly villain and he was doing all this crazy stuff behind closed doors. But Ed is just really a sweet guy. Like, he is just so wonderful. I loved his route. It was so warm and fuzzy, and he kind of foils Aprose because Aprose is very much just like violence, vengeance, revenge. Like, she is so intense, and Ed isn't. He just kind of like wears you down with like how good and righteous he is. And it was really cute kind of seeing Aprose soften and want more than just revenge in his route. Like, it's really hard to be mad at Ed because when someone is just so good and so righteous and they're just smiling at you like in that way, you have a hard time telling them that the world is going to hell. You just want to be like, you know what, you're right. Everything is fine. Everything is perfect. He puts a lot of people at ease with how chill he is. And like, he's so sweet. I don't usually go for guys like Ed, but he was so friggin' sweet. And I love the dynamic between him and Aprose. Like, he's not my favorite character, but he came really close. Okay, so next we have Alfred. He is the current head of the Cresswell family, and they are descended from the Spriggan. Their house is the current leader of the 5 houses, the 5 noble houses. And Alfred's 30. And I only bring this up because he's a grown man and he is very serious. He's very strict. He's very like goal oriented, and he's very much like Aprose. Like, he and Aprose are like 2 sides of the same coin. They are the same person. They are very driven individuals. They're very serious. They're very one note. They're very much just like focused on whatever their goals are. And they are not afraid to use other people to reach their goals. If they have to lie, cheat, steal, and use people to get their end, they will. And I really like that dynamic with the two characters, because both Alfred and Aprose are the smartest people in the room at any given time. So they are always at least 5 steps ahead of everybody else in the room. And it's so funny watching the two of them trying to outwit the other in their route, because they're like, they all are like, well, I know what really happened. Well, I know what really happened. And it's just watching them go back and forth because they think that they know more than the other is really funny. And like, because Alfred's like a grown man, he doesn't play like petty games or tricks or anything like that. He is very much just like straightforward. He's like, I want this. Either you're gonna do it, or I'm gonna create a situation in which you have no choice but to say yes to what I just asked you to do. But you're gonna do it. And Aprose is the same way. And it's kind of a humbling experience for her because she always thinks that she knows more, and sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes sis is very unaware. And like, Alfred will be like, girl, you were like 2 steps away from getting caught. Like, what are you doing? And like, their dynamic is so much fun to watch play out. His route is very plot heavy, so it has a lot of insight into the political unrest in the country and like people's discontent with the queen and what she's doing. So you're getting a lot of background information on the world at large. And because Alfred's not as dynamic of a character, it was hard for me to like enjoy the route. Like, I like Alfred as a character and I love the dynamic he has with Aprose, but like his route was kind of dull in comparison to the others because of how he is. Like, if you've ever played Cupid Parasite, how Shelby and Lynette are. They're very work focused. They're spending their time talking about business and doing paperwork all the time. That's very much how it is with Aprose and Alfred. Like, these two dorks would be sitting and doing paperwork for hours at a time, and they wouldn't even be talking to one another, but they like are having the best time ever, just planning and plotting, just sitting silently next to each other. And that's kind of the vibe that they give off. It's not overly romantic, but it's cute. It's still cute. I don't hate any of the characters in this game. So Linus Ward, he is the next head of the Ward house, and they are descendants of the Kusith. He is referred to as the Hound of the Queen. So Linus is very loyal to the Fairy Queen, like to an absurd degree. Like, he would never forsake her or anything that she does, which makes him kind of dangerous for Aprose to get close to, because he's a little too close to the queen. And to contrast that, Linus is very upbeat, he's very friendly, he's always smiling, he's a sunshine boy, and he's really sweet. He definitely gives off golden retriever energy. He's very much the guard dog of the country. So he and his family are tasked with being the protectors of the queen and the crown. And so they're often running through the streets and arresting people who they deem as being anti-royalist. So they're essentially the cops. He's the popo. So getting close to him is dangerous, because if she makes one wrong step, he'll just turn her over to the queen. While he's generally really upbeat and happy and like really sweet, he does have these moments when he's cutthroat, and it was kind of crazy to see. Like, he turns it off and it's like, oh my God, like, I'm in danger. I'm afraid. I should be afraid. And because he spends so much time working for the queen, trying to protect her and the nation, he's very tired. So you usually find him like sleeping in random places because he doesn't really get a chance to sleep. But I think a big part of Linus's like storyline and past is he has never been able to get over his first love. We find out in his route what happened to her and why he has such intense feelings for her. And it's actually kind of sweet and sad all at once, because it causes a conflict for Linus where he has to choose between his heart and his duty. And it's not an easy decision for him to make because a part of his like Fae ancestry is to be loyal to the queen. And so anything that gets between him and the queen causes big problems for him. And it's really heartbreaking at times, but he's so sweet. And I like his relationship with Aprose. He's very awkward and dumb. And when he falls for her, it's kind of like he pulls back because he still has that pull to his first love. So he feels wrong for falling in love with Aprose because he's kind of set himself on being in love with one person for his entire life. And he can't help but be drawn to her, and he doesn't know why, and he's like trying to figure it out. And it's really cute. It's really sweet. I liked him a lot. His clown end was brutal. That was some crazy work. But his happy ending was really sweet too. So, but yeah, that's Linus. So next is Lucas. Oh my goodness, I love Lucas. Lucas is so sweet. Lucas is a little emo baby. He does not like people. He is very antisocial. He would prefer to be left alone in his house to his own devices. But unfortunately, he is one of the members of the 5 noble houses, and he is from the Sullivan household, and they are descended from the Will-O-Wisp. And he is so fun to tease. He is very pessimistic. He does not want to be a part of anything. He hates that he has to go to all these meetings with the other guys. He hates that he has to be around them constantly. He truly does not want to be around these people. And unfortunately, he doesn't have a choice. He has to participate. He is my favorite. I love him so much. He was so cute and so adorable, and he's not really in tune with his feelings as much, so he's just kind of fumbling through it. And like his romancing of Aprose is very awkward and funny. He does like cute things. Like there's a point where he makes her sandwiches. And he's like, yeah, I thought you'd be hungry, so I made some sandwiches. And he's like, it's not like I like you or anything or whatever. I just made them. You can eat them if you want. It's just like, oh, do you not want me to eat the sandwiches? He's like, no, you should totally eat the sandwiches. And she's like, okay, I'll eat the sandwiches. Like, it's just that's the kind of dynamic they have. So all of the guys and Aprose are demi-fae. And he desperately wants to become a pure fae because he feels like it's the only way that he can leave this mortal coil behind and live at peace. His reasoning for wanting to be a pure fae is really sad. And it's like, you just want to give him a hug and like pat his head and tell him everything is going to be okay, because this boy has been through a lot. And he starts to kind of find an inner peace through his relationship with Aprose. She kind of pushes him to want to be with other people, to want to get to know other people, and to want to spend time with someone else. He actually starts wanting to be near her and to tell her more about himself and learn more about her and understand her in a way he's never wanted to understand another person. He's very closed off. He's very distant, and you kind of have to work a little harder to break down his walls and win his heart. But when you do, he is the sweetest being. He is so sweet and so wonderful, and I loved him so much. His route ended up being so romantic and sweet. And oh my God, I gave you all these doki dokis. I was like heart fluttering, like just blushing and shit. It was so adorable. I love Lucas so much. Oh, he's so cute. So next up is Ascot. Ascot is a flirt. I went into this game fully expecting to hate this man, to loathe him entirely. But you know what? I really liked Ascot. Ascot's route was so freaking good. It was crazy work how good his plot was. I was like, Not me falling for a flirty Otome love interest. What is going on? Are pigs flying? Did hell freeze over? Because I really liked him. Ascot is the representative head of the Lindell house. And unlike the other guys who got their position through birth, Ascot's house operates a little differently. He was chosen to be the head of his group, and he is descendant from the Puka Fae. He is really attractive. He's a womanizer. He got women literally falling over themselves to have a moment of his time. And he does not dissuade them at all. In fact, he encourages them to lust after him. He literally flirts with anything with a hole. As long as it's in front of him, he will flirt. He kind of gets on the other guy's nerves because he doesn't take anything seriously. But Ascot and his family are like the attendants to the queen. So next to Linus, Ascot is the closest person to the queen. So whenever the queen needs something, she'll call Ascot, and then she'll tell Ascot to tell the other guys what's going on. So he's another character that's very dangerous for Aprose to approach because of how close he is to the queen. And because she doesn't know what their relationship is like. She doesn't know if she can trust him and what he's saying, because he could be a huge problem for her. His dynamic with Aprose is really funny because like he's always just like dancing through life and having a ball and just like playing around. And Aprose is very driven and focused, and she just cannot stand this man. Like for the longest, she hates every time she has to talk to him because he's always trying to flirt with her. And she's like, bro, like get off me, like go away. And there are these moments with Ascot where he seems to know more than he's letting on. And so she's not sure if he's just playing around to get people to let their guard down or if he's really just a dork. And so she never knows exactly how she should be talking to him because you don't really know what's going on with Ascot. Definitely loved his route. Like there's a lot going on his route. His route is one of the locked ones on purpose. And yeah, it was a wild ride. I really loved him. He had one of the best endings in the game, but he also had one of the most brutal bad endings in the entire game. It was crazy. But he's a lot of fun, so I do hope you guys will like him. All right, so the last love interest is John. John is an interesting character. His route is completely locked. Like you should play John's route last on purpose. But John is Aprose's attendant and childhood friend. He is the closest person to her. He knows who she is outside of the Rose persona, and he is actively helping her get her revenge. He will do anything for her. All she has to do is ask. He will not question anything she does. And he's got more of like an older brother vibe to him, which can make him feel kind of like a mother hen at times because he's like, you should protect yourself. You should be eating more. I think you should give up on this. And she's like, are you with me or not? And he's like, I'm with you. I'm gonna do it. What do you need? And because of that, Aprose tends to kind of like overlook him a little bit. Like she tends to forget he's there. So like in all the other routes, John is there to help her, but she'll like run headfirst into danger. And I'm like looking at my Switch like, why don't you just call John? Just call John. John will help you do it. And she just like, nope, gonna run into this fire. It's fine. And John later will be like, why did you do that? Why didn't you call me? And she's like, oh, I didn't think about it. So he's one of those people that's always by your side, but gets constantly friend zoned. And it's so sad. His route was really, really, really emotional and very sweet too. He had a really sweet route. I love their relationship because like a lot of times you'll have characters that are constantly telling you you're wrong, when you're choosing violence, but John doesn't really tell her she's doing anything wrong. She's like, I want to get revenge. I want to murder everybody. And he's like, okay, here's a knife. And he'll sometimes be like, well, maybe have you thought about not doing it? Because like, I want you to be happy. And you don't seem very happy getting revenge. And she's like, who cares if I'm happy? I need to do this. He's very caring towards her. And it's a really sweet relationship. I know I said that a lot, but it's sweet. And that's all I'll say about John because he's locked for a reason. But yeah, those are the love interests. But yeah, let's do this. Let's play Mistonia's Hope, the Lost Delight. No, I don't care. All right. So the setting of the game is Grand Albion, which is a city in the country of Rowan, which is where everything takes place. It's set in kind of like an aristocratic European setting. So a lot of carriages, very big poofy dresses, and men in peacoats and stuff. So it's definitely dated. And there she is, our heroine. Aprose never smiles. Like, rarely. People crowded the bright, beautiful cityscape, rainbow-colored lines, a natural part of life in this world, extended throughout the city. I walked straight ahead, purposefully avoiding these lines. No one paid me any attention. No one knew me. I'm going to be late. I hurried towards the suburban mansion, gradually leaving the hustle and bustle behind. So, this is House Bernstein. Even from outside, I can sense their strength. When I looked up, I found a solemn-looking building surrounded by beautiful wilderness. But did the structure's elegance match what lay within? Aprose has an ability called Fae Sight, and when she uses her Fae ability, she has the ability to see past thoughts and feelings of people and objects. I need to hurry. I had to remain calm. It had been 8 years. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and imagined the faces of my loved ones. Watch me. I'll definitely carry the plan through. I opened my eyes, grabbed my bag, and walked to the rear of the mansion where the back entrance usually used by servants sat. From here on out, I'm neither the daughter of Duke Randolph nor a part of the Five Houses. I'm merely a maid who has served several families, a powerless humane with no family.
さあさあお立ち会い。昔語りの始まりだ。これは昔々の物語。可憐で高慢、意固地な妖精女王と哀れな5頭の妖精たちが登場する話だ。
So this is just giving us some backstory on like the world at large and what happened.
四方を海に囲まれたアルビオンは元来妖精と人が暮らす土地だった。ヒューマが暮らす現世とティルナノーグとの境界を越えられるのはピュアだけ。ピュアたちは長い時間を生きるため退屈しのぎに現世とやってきていた。
Yeah, so I mean essentially what's going on here is Pure Fae crossed the boundary from Tir na Nog and they came to the human world and they were there to help humans and do things for them. So yeah, the Fairy Queen initially came and helped humans by fighting their enemies, and essentially she overstayed her welcome.
めでたしめでたし。なんて簡単には終わらない。本題はここか。
It's like Lord of the Rings. Like the elves, they left us.
だが女王は再び侵略者の手が伸びることを案じ、現世にとどまった。なんとも慈悲深いことだ。
And this is essentially the origin story of the 5 main houses of Albion. And these are the representatives of the original Fae that are the progenitors of the noble houses that the love interests are a part of. At one point, they kind of point out that some of the characters look like their past counterparts and others don't. And the one character that they say specifically does not look like his Fae ancestor is Alfred. He is handsome and tall, and his ancestor was short and not handsome. So that's just like really funny to think about. But like everybody else are like, yeah, no, they look exactly like their ancestor. But no, they're like, Alfred's too tall. Too hot.
さらに妖精にも女王の意志に従う者が現れた。シルフ、スプリガン、クーシー、ウィル・オ・ウィスプ、プーカの5頭だ。
I'm sorry, it's always funny hearing these Japanese voice actors try to pronounce non-Japanese words.
それこそがグランド・アルビオン。栄光と繁栄を誇るこの国の始まりだ。世代が進むにつれ、女王を守護する5頭の妖精の一族の中には、ヒューマと交わりこうなす者も現れた。だが一部のヒューマは妖精の力はもとより、彼らの無邪気な悪意を恐れ続けた。
So one thing that carries over from like Fae lore into the game is that pure Fae are unintentionally cruel because they lack that humanity that lets you know that something is off with the way that you're doing. So they're described as being like childlike and cruel in their actions, which is part of the problem going on with the queen.
そうして国内には火種がくすぶり続けた。
とある数奇な運命を持つ少女によって、やがて国の根幹を燃やし尽くすその火種。
いいえ、絶対に振り返ってはダメ。扉を出たらまっすぐに歩き続けるの。
So Aprose's backstory kind of reminds me of Anastasia. She is like the last survivor of her noble house after they were massacred unjustly. Whereas in Anastasia, she gets amnesia and she doesn't remember anything and she's living as a normal person. Aprose remembers everything. She remembers everything that happened to her family and she is actively gunning to get hers for everybody who had a part in it. But I just found it kind of funny. It was like, oh, she's Anastasia. She even gets like, they even sneak her out of the house through like a little hole in the wall, which is like so funny. But she is so cute. Also, she's naturally blonde. Part of her disguise is that she's not blonde anymore, which I wish they had just had her have dark hair. Aw, I have to walk. I have to keep going. I promise. I have to do this. I'll be caught. Oh, the poor baby. And that's the queen. I'm gonna be honest. She's like, her sprite is gorgeous, but absolutely terrifying to look at. They really did a good job making her look unhinged. Oof. Someone suddenly grabbed my shoulder, forcing me to turn around. Oh my gosh, I love her. I wish they would let us date the women because, like, Evelyn is best girl. Oh, right, I'm at Bernstein Mansion. I had been busy reminiscing and didn't hear what she had said.
来たばっかで言いにくいでしょうけど、自己申告してもらわなきゃどうにもできないわ。どうなの？具合悪いわけ？
She peered down at me, seemingly suspicious of my silence. I looked back at the woman, remembering the event earlier that morning. Obligatory flashback.
本日より使用人が増えることになった。こちらに来て挨拶を。
This is Nick. He is the head butler, and this man scares me. He scares me a lot, actually. So we can choose our name. The default name is Aprose E. Randolph. That is her government name, and that's what Aprose looks like when she's not in disguise. She's blonde. She's got blue-purple eyes. She is also scary to look at with her blonde hair and dead, lifeless eyes. And this is the Rose persona when she is in disguise. when she's in disguise, when she's infiltrating the mansion, and when she's talking to the other characters, other than John, they all refer to her as Rose. So, yes, I would like to save the names. My name is Rose Cottingley. It's a pleasure to meet you.
私はエブリン・ミラー、パーラーメイドよ。新入りだからって甘やかしたりしないから、そのつもりでね。シャルロッテ・ペレスです。
Oh, Charlotte is so sweet and cute.
キッチンメイドです。よろしくお願いします。
フィリップ・オルティスだ。ニコラスさんの下で羊見習いをしてる。
I like Philip. Philip is a fun character.
この家の使用人歴はエブリンたちよりも長いから、何かあれば遠慮なく聞いてくれていいぜ。
Also, look at their little outfits. They are so cute, and I love the details. Like, I don't know, there's something about this fashion that looks so cute. Miss Evelyn?
何よ。
I've never worked at a grand mansion such as this and was simply fascinated by the building. I apologize for interrupting your work.
あ、そう。まあ、その気持ちはわからなくもないけどね。私も片田舎の出身だし。
The new friend.
とはいえ、仕事は仕事よ。広間が終わっても掃除する場所はまだまだ山積み。え
A part of the early humor in the game is Rose is like really good at everything. She's almost too good at her job, which makes her more suspicious because she's like, if I just do my job, they won't think I'm suspicious. And I'm like, I think it's more suspicious that you don't make mistakes.
何これ。なんで任せた範囲以外までピカピカになってんの。いつの間に。
Can you please check my work? There's nothing to check, sis. You did it.
問題なさそうね。埃も払われているし、窓枠も綺麗だもの。というか、カーテンのほつれも直ってる。嘘でしょ。
Yeah, she's too perfect. It's kind of funny.
いつ針を出したのか全然わからなかったんだけど、一体どうなってるわけ？この
Evelyn paused awkwardly. She obviously wasn't supposed to have said anything based on the look on her face. I feigned ignorance, acting as any newcomer would. By Lady Lily, do you mean the daughter of the house? Before I could finish the question, there was a knock at the door. Charlotte peeked in timidly.
旦那様たちがお戻りになったからお出迎えに。ありがとうシャルロッテ。今行くわ。
They're just so sweet.
ローズ、あんたもよ。
Right. This is Daddy Bernstein. He is always scowling. He was a man in his prime, dressed in tailored apparel and clutching a cane. His menacing aura and keen eyes made me nervous.
お帰りなさいませ、旦那様。
お帰りなさいませ。
夕食まで部屋で書類に目を通す。
Love his voice.
承知いたしました。後ほど紅茶をお持ちします。
See, that's a grown man. That's what a grown man sounds like.
もうお父様ったらお一人で歩いて行ってしまうんですから。
This is Lily. This is Edward's sister. I love her fit. A jet black dress. Wait, is that morning attire? The woman was elegant and flower-like. You could tell at a glance that she was a noble, though the black bereavement dress looked out of place on someone so young and otherwise vibrant. I glimpsed a young man behind the woman, sporting features similar to her own. Then he walked towards me. His golden, glistening hair and gentle blue eyes combined with the sword at his waist, and his smart outfit suited the son of a respected noble. He is so cute. Look at him. He looks like a little fairy tale prince. His white outfit with his little cape. He's just so good. Something about him seemed familiar. Have I met this person somewhere before? No, it must be my imagination.
お帰りなさいませ、エドワード様、リリーお嬢様。
These two were Edward and Lily, Marquess Bernstein's children.
お二人もご一緒だったのですね。
お茶会から帰るところでばったりね。あら、見ない子がいるわね。
Nosy. I looked up at Nicholas's urging to find Edward standing in front of me. I was taken aback. He stared directly at me, a mere servant.
ああ、君が新しく来てくれた子だね。はじめまして、エドワード・バーンスタインだ。
He is so sweet. He wants to shake hands with me? I was trying to figure out what exactly this man wanted when Evelyn nudged my side.
ちょっと新入り、エドワード様が手を差し出してくださってるのよ。
Like, this is what I mean. Like, it's a simple thing, and she's just like, I don't know what he wants me to do with his hand. Like, does he want me to lick it? Like, what?
今すぐ握手を。握手？え？そんな気軽にしちゃっていいわけ？この場合はしない方が失礼になる？
Good question.
どうなのかな？
She sounds so scared.
いや、俺に聞かれても。
Philip is childhood friends with Edward, so like this line is ridiculous. But he's like, I don't know what you're supposed to do either, bro. He literally will practically jump on Edward's back when he sees him in any other setting. So him acting all new here is funny.
弟がごめんなさいね。この子、誰にでも来やすいのよ。
Sussing out the situation, I looked around. Edward stared at me, smiling. The localization for this game is kind of funny. Like how these people dressed in elegant clothing and be like, oh, I'm sussing out the vibe. Meeting you is a great honor. Please allow me to serve you with sincere devotion.
ああ、これからよろしく。君の名前は？
エドワード。
Ooh, Daddy is angry. Edmund's voice echoed through the hall right before we grasped one another's hands. He didn't shout, merely spoke calmly. Even so, he was clearly angry.
何をしている？仕事に取り掛かれ。お前には御家会議の準備を任せたはずだが。
Just stop playing with the servants.
ええ。彼女に挨拶をしたらすぐに。
He's like, Daddy, can't you see I'm trying to hit on her? Like, what are you doing?
使用人を相手に馬鹿げたことを。
Screw you too, sir. Edmund cut him off, seemingly unable to listen to him any longer. Like,
女王陛下にも言われたばかりだろう。次期当主の自覚を持て。
they don't get along, in case you weren't aware.
父上、私は。
He just said, I ain't got time for this either. Oh my
エ
gosh.
ド、私たちも行きましょう。
His sister just like, well, that's a regular occurrence. Moving on.
久しぶりに陛下にお目にかかれて、お父様も気が高ぶっていらっしゃるのよ。
Oh.
今日のところは、お父様の顔を立ててあげたら、あ
Yeah.
なたも巻き込んでしまってごめんなさいね。
That's alright. It's fine. A moment later, Lily's heels moved out of my field of vision, followed by Edward's leather boots.
すまない。また改めて君の名前を教えてほしい。
He really wants to know her name. He's like, what's your name though? I raised my head as the footsteps grew further away, staring at the pair as they disappeared upstairs. Then someone slapped my back.
今すごい音が。エドワード様に見とれるのはわかるけど、仕事。もう
Aww.
口で言えばいいじゃない。大丈夫ですか？
I love these two. So they end up becoming Rose's good friends. And I love an Otome game that has the heroine have actual friends. And there are a lot of really cute moments where they'll explain like social interactions that she's not familiar with. And like, they'll be like, oh, I think he's flirting with you. She's like, what? No, they're not. There's no way.
仕事熱心なやつだな。
フィリップこそ早く戻った方がいいんじゃない？こんなところでグズグズしてたらニコラスさんの小言が
Like,
飛ん
this
で
man
く
is
るわよ。
slacking.
確かに。じゃあ俺は先に戻るけど、あんまり新入りをいじめんなよ、エブリン。
Uh-huh.
いじめてなんかないわよ。
Philip had already turned his back by the time she responded. Instead of replying, he simply waved and went back inside.
私たちも仕事に戻りましょう。怒られるのはフィリップだけじゃないんだから。
Sure.
そうだね。ローズさん。
ああ、
敬語もいらないと思うけど。
Yeah, she's like super awkward with
その話し
everybody.
方が癖なら
Poor baby.
無理に直さなくてもいいんじゃない？
And here comes Nicholas. Jesus, this man comes out of nowhere.
リリーお嬢様が体調が優れないとおっしゃっている。エブリン、シャルロッテ、夕食の支度ができたらお嬢様の食事はお部屋へ運ぶように。
承知しました。
They're so cute.
風が強くポーチの汚れが気になる。フィリップ、
Okay.
ローズ、夕食時までに掃除の徹底を。
承知しました。
What a competent butler. He works quietly and doesn't waste his time with idle chatter, just as Miss Verde said. I may be able to avoid having him pry into me. Still, nothing went unnoticed by a capable eagle-eyed butler. I couldn't let my guard down.
この時間からお屋敷の外の掃除は答
Oh
え
my
るよね。
god, this man
しかもニ
complains.
コラスさんが言った通り、めちゃくちゃ風が強いし。かといって手抜きすると、ニコラスさんには絶対バレるしな。あ、でも、ごまかす方法もなくはないけど、知りたい？
Yeah, that's alright. I love it. He's trying to make friends and she's like, no, I'm good. Gathering information from someone like him may be easy. This seemed like a good opportunity to try to bring the subject up naturally. Mr. Nicholas said her ladyship isn't feeling well. Is she in poor health?
ああ、うん、そうだよ。だから空気のいい別荘でお過ごしになることも結構あってさ。そういう儚げなところも手伝って、リリー様は社交界でマドンナ・リリーなんて呼ばれてる。バーンスタイン家のご令嬢
This
であ
man
る
is talking
リリー様にぴっ
a
たりな人間
lot.
だと思うよ。
Sir, you should not be sharing all this information. It sounded like he might have had feelings for her, although the way he talked was probably normal for a loyal servant. It's still kind of surprising. He looks so easygoing. I made a mental note to neither be influenced by his frivolous talk nor to speak badly about House Bernstein, though I never intended to do either in the first place. I see. So her ladyship is well known within high society. Is Lord Edward popular too?
人気なんてもんじゃないかな。あれぞ好青年の見本って感じの方だからね。両家のご令嬢のみならず、あちこちから熱視線を向けられてるよ。そもそも本人が分け隔てしないタイプだし。
Love it. He's not a racist. So attractive in a man. Discriminate? You mean he treats people the same regardless of social status?
そうそう。この屋敷では坊ちゃんが始めた習慣があるんだ。ここで働き始めた使用人は好きなものを一つ買ってもらえるんだぜ。もちろん坊ちゃんのポケットマネーでね。今までに小説やらハンカチやら、あとは日記セットなんかもあったかな。
He is so excited about this. I see. I think I understand what you mean when you say he doesn't discriminate. I recalled how he asked to shake hands. Perhaps he thought such a thing was only natural.
ああ、でもいくら坊ちゃんが親切だからって恋心を持つなんて大それたことだぜ。恋をするなら
Dude,
やっぱり
seriously?
身分が同じ者同士じゃないと。例えば俺とかね。
Ew, no. Like, don't hit on me like that. You can rest assured that I know that much. Philip peered at me, but I avoided his gaze, pretending not to have heard that last part. My judgment of Philip must have been correct. He truly was easygoing.
釣れないな。って、 もう掃除終わってるほわ、手際良すぎじゃない。
Heard that man's whole life. Ooh, this is awkward. And that wasn't just because there was barely any conversation. Tension filled the air. They seemed so distant for a father and son, or is this normal between two men, even when they are family? Oh.
アプローズ
Aww. A memory suddenly surfaced, but I quickly pushed it away. Edmund spoke soon enough. I listened in while I served the pair.
合計会議の準備はどうなっている？サリバン家から出席の返事が届かないと聞いていたが。
Yeah, Lucas is not about that life.
今朝受け取りました。ルーカス卿が出席してくださるそうです。
なるほど。やはりルーカス卿がサリバンの当主を継ぐのだな。
おそらくはですが、次期当主としてはウォード
This
家
is
から
such a cold
のライヌス卿が出
conversation.
席されると返事がありました。
Poor baby.
グレスウェル家とリンデル家からは変わらずアルフレッド卿とアスコット卿が出席されます。
Sullivan, Ward, Cresswell, Lindell. I pondered the family names I'd overheard. The 5 houses included House Bernstein, where I resided, reigned as the upper class of society in this country. What made these 5 houses in particular so special? They were the descendants of the Fae who had helped the Queen defeat Fremdland. First was the House Cresswell, the descendant of Spriggan. Earl Alfred Cresswell acted as the current head of the house. Spriggan was originally talented at stonework. They were proficient at handling ore. When they exerted their maximum power, they were said to be able to put up a barrier and repel enemies by force. This barrier proved extremely useful during the war with Fremdland. Thus, they had been given a noble title, something they held to this day. Up next was House Ward, the descendant of Kusith, the Viscount Linus Ward, as the next head of the house. He's only the heir, though, so the fact that he's attending the conference could mean his succession has already begun. Kusith's physical ability was said to be much stronger than that of other races, and they excelled at hand-to-hand combat. Legend said that Kusith had single-handedly defeated an entire battalion by themselves during the war with Fremdland. That is gonna trip me up every time. In addition, this family was said to be the most loyal to the Queen. I needed to be wary of them. Then there was House Sullivan, the descendants of Will-O-Wisp. The person thought to be the next head of the house was Lucas Sullivan, who was most likely an earl. I like how she doesn't know. It is said that there's family discord over inheritance within House Sullivan. Judging from the conversation, it looks like the next head has basically been decided, however. On the other hand, there was little to no information on these Fae's abilities. Rumor had it that they could control the dead. I had heard they used blue flames to confuse the enemy during the war, but that could also have been remnants of the dead. Ominous. But I suppose House Lindell, the descendants of Puka, is the most confusing. When House Randolph, one of the 5 houses, disappeared a decade ago, House Lindell was brought in to fill the gaps they left behind. Their current head representative was Ascot Lindell. Attending the conference meant he was the most powerful person in the house nonetheless. Only now did I realize I had never uncovered the house's state of affairs while investigating. Little was known about the kind of Fae the Puka were, but hearsay said that they looked like a cat or a bird. The most important fact is that they are descendants of the Queen's Chamberlain. I have to be more cautious of them than House Ward. Finally, we had House Bernstein, the descendants of Sylph. The current head of the house was right in front of me, Marquess Edmund Bernstein. The next head of the family would be his son, Earl Edward Bernstein. Sylph had the power to control the wind. They were said to be so strong that they created storms that sunk the enemy's entire armada during the fight with Fremdland. This house was popular among commoners, as many Bernsteins were good looking. That's crazy. They're so hot, so the people love them. I need to get closer to the queen and her subordinates from these houses to achieve my long-time goal. Hence, this was my chance to get close to all the houses. I only infiltrated House Bernstein as a servant because this was where the conference would be held.
今度の御家会議はこの国にとって重要な催しである博覧会について決めることが山積みだ。
So yeah, they're essentially working together to put on an exhibition, which is like a fair. And there's lots of different festivities and things. And because they're the leaders of the country, they have to discuss how to plan it. It's essentially they're planning a really big party the whole game. I feel bad for Edward sometimes. This man is stressed.
その言葉忘れるなよ。
Jesus. Edmund sounded anxious rather than hopeful. Then the older man rose from his seat. He said, enough of that. Something came to mind as I watched Edward heave an exhausted sigh. Father and son don't seem to have the best relationship. I can take advantage of this. This is what I mean. Like, she's literally snooping around for weaknesses that she can exploit. She's like, they don't get along. I can use this. How? Who knows? Instead of feeling sympathy for the poor boy, I was filled with nothing but the desire to use the situation to my advantage, of course. The day had felt both strangely long and short. I sighed to myself in the room I'd been given. Servants here were even provided private quarters, a testament to House Bernstein's prosperity. Not to mention their fine gardens, such an incredible house. I thought sarcastically as I forced the curtains open. Something far away caught my attention. Memories of days long gone.
ローアンは大きな都だったろ。
Aww.
いつかお前が自由になれたらまた連れて行ってやりたい。
You're right, brother. Rowan truly is huge. I hate being here, though. Good God, does nothing please you, sis? My heart wasn't filled with hope, only despair and dark thoughts of revenge. Like, this is 95% of her dialogue. That day, I had been left behind in the dark ever since that night 8 years ago. That night, my hometown was attacked by unknown assailants. I was so young back then, a mess of tears and anxiety. I had no idea what had happened.
村全体を囲まれたようだ。おそらく5家が揃っているはず。この子をみすみす渡すわけにはいかない。
父さん、僕も行くよ。
I mean, he's hot. Where are you two going? Take me with you.
アプローズあな
Mother smiled, her usual gentle smile, and held her hand out to me. Her eyes, however, were resolute. Mother took me to a room I had never seen. It was hidden, a secret place built into our house that led outside.
いい絶対に振り返ってはダメ。扉を出たらまっすぐに歩き続けるの。
Poor baby.
大丈夫よ。心配いらないわ。
Aww.
後から必ず追いかけるから。
She's so little and sad. Really? Are you really coming too?
ええ、約束するわ。
Mother pulled me into her arms, trembling slightly. Her warm arms helped soothe the anxiety coursing through me.
さあ、涙を拭いて。
Aww.
愛しているわ。私たちの大切な可愛い子。さあ。
Okay. After that, I walked and walked and walked down the dark underground passage. This place it felt like I had been transported to another world. The bluebells were in full bloom when I arrived. As I stood there mesmerized, he called out to me.
ああ、たどり着けたのか。
Oh. I looked down at my right hand as I recalled the event. I held my hand to the window and concentrated. Then, a faintly glowing crest formed on the back of my hand. I only walked around the mansion for a bit today, but I can still tell this place is full of magical energy. I should be able to see something if I use my Fey-sight hand. This is the power only I possessed. No other Fae had the ability. It was the power to see the truth, something manifested, though only rarely by the descendants of Ainsel. I stared at the crest surrounded by wings. It shined brightly, proof that its power had been enhanced after forming a contract with someone in order to reach a certain goal. I have to be careful and not use it too much. John keeps telling me I can't withstand the power like pure Fae can. So there are consequences for overusing her ability in the game, and if you do so, bad things happen. Something flashed in the corner of my eye, pulling me back to where I was. I glanced about and found the pocket watch on my desk glowing. It's a message from John. I picked up the pocket watch and read the message from my precious childhood friend and comrade in arms. John was the only other person who had managed to escape town that day. Let's see. Are you doing well? Awaiting your reply. I can't really blame him. I've only shown him my pathetic side for these past 8 years. Aww. Everyone in town had died that day, except John. My mother, who had promised to follow me, my father and brother, who had gone outside, they all died. So bleak. It was John who had taken care of me when I turned into little more than a doll, void of emotions. Aww. She needs to be protected. But you see, John, I'm different now. I know what I have to do. I gripped the watch tightly, determined. My family and villagers of our town hadn't simply died. They'd been murdered by the queen and her minions. I knew the queen had given the order to attack, and those who had followed those orders were the 5 houses. My goal was to find out who exactly had attacked that night and take them down along with the queen. It'll happen. I'm going to do it. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, my eyes dark as I quietly murmured my pledge. Like, sis was like, I'm coming for blood. It was my second morning at the Bernstein mansion. Like any other servant, I started working early in the morning before the family woke up. All right, let's poke around the mansion and look for those shards. One of the reasons why I decided to work in this particular mansion was so I could see memories of the past. I wanted to search for crystal shards that allowed me to look into the memories of people who were related to my plan for revenge. From what I learned, information filled with strong magical power and emotion could create a shard because of my hand. That said, they aren't just laying around. Shards appear when someone is talking or when I touch something, or so I've been told. Where should I start? All right, and this is just going over it. Essentially, you go through the house and you interact with different areas. Yes, this is nice. You go to different areas in the house and there will be a shard there. It actually tells you where the shards are, so you don't necessarily have to go to all the places. But there is key information you can get from locations that don't have shards. So you don't have to, but I recommend going to all the places. I opened the door to the dining room slightly and peeked inside. I found Evelyn and Charlotte peering closely at a small plate.
やっぱりあんたの作るマディラケーキは美味しいわね。ちょっとだ、そうかな。ありがとう。もう、あんたってどうしてそう自信がないの？もしかしてまだユニークなのに力が弱いとか気にしてる？
And they range from like simple interactions like this to like characters actually discussing the plot. It's kind of funny.
だって事実だもの。私の力はこの国の基準で言えばギリギリユニークって言えるくらいだから。
Poor Charlotte. I love her.
ここで働く機会をいただけなかったらユニークじゃなくてミングルとみなされてもっと差別を受けてたかもしれないし。
And like I said earlier, Demi-Fae are people with Fae ancestry and power. So in Charlotte's case, she has Fae blood, but her powers are kind of weak. So people assume she's a mingle, and she's often kind of like discriminated against because of that, which isn't fair.
正直私の出身地はヒューマしかいなかったから、そのあたりの境界が曖昧なんだけど。
Right.
ミングルって力のないユニークの差別用語よね。
Oh.
バカバカしい。とにかくあんたは私にとって料理上手なシャルロッテ以外の何者でもないわ。
See? I love Evelyn. She's fantastic. Like, she's just so sweet. Oh no, it's 100% a slur. Like, 1000%.
これだけ誇れる能力があるんだから、妖精の力がどうこうとか気にすることないわよ。もっと自信を持ちなさい。
Oh.
ありがとう、エブリン。
Oh, they're so sweet. Evelyn's thoughts on this are certainly unconventional, considering the strong discrimination in this country. Not that I dislike her attitude. I thought about the current conditions in this country as I quietly moved away from the door. Mingles are the same as demi-fae, only they are less powerful. They face discrimination because the queen abandoned them. The only pure fae in existence is the queen, a fearsome being of immense power. Everything about this country was wrong. This place was originally only humans, but now was ruled by fae alone. That included the 5 houses. I'd heard stories about how the 5 houses had banished weaker demi-fae. This is treating them equally really so taboo. And then we get a shard, and you just have to collect all of them. It's actually gonna make me go through all of these because this is the tutorial, but like you literally go through every room and collect all the shards, and some, like I said, some rooms have nothing going on, so you're just kind of like looking at nothing. But some rooms that don't have shards might have information you need, so it's worth looking just for the sake of getting context for the story. Now, thank you. Jesus. Other people don't see these shards, but they're really beautiful. Oberon, I've collected some shards. I poked my pocket watch calling him, and he ignores us. Or wait, maybe he might show up.
手際がいいじゃないか。
So Oberon appears as a cute Robin in the story. He does have a human-looking form, but you won't see it until later on in the game. But like, this adorable angry bird is just so cute. Look at him. That is the powerful Fae King Oberon. I mean, yes, human looking. He's a fae. Looks like a fairy. This was not his true form, though. He only transformed into a bird temporarily, so he was able to fit inside the pocket watch. There were many things I wanted to tell him, but I didn't have the time. I got straight to the point. Thanks for the insincere compliment anyway. What should I do with these?
教えるなんて必要もないぐらい簡単だ。似た性質を持つ情報は色が近い。ほら。
He's so cute. Like, there's a plushie of Oberon, I would buy it. Like, as far as cute animal companions in Otome games go, I actually like Oberon. The shards he pointed to with his feathers were indeed all red.
右手で握り込んで意識を集中させるんだ。そうすれば見える。かけらが少なすぎると見れない。ちょっと足りないぐらいなら強めたシオの手の力を発揮すれば見れる。と思う。
That's a bit vague.
はいはい。そういう苦情は見れなかった時しか受け付けません。レクチャーは終わりだ。
Oh. Wait, I'll give it a try, so don't.
ああ、かけらはあくまで一時的な具現化。時間が経つと消えてしまうか
He is
ら、
so
見るか
snarky
見
with
ないか判断
her,
は早くすることだ。
and I love it. He's like not here for her ish.
じゃあな。
He's like, bye. Don't call me again. He could have stayed until I tried it first. Like, Oberon does not care. Oberon is like, bruh, don't call me again. Don't need me for anything. Leave me alone. Collecting myself, I reached for the shards. And after the exploration segment, when you've collected all the shards, you can view them by clicking, and they give you different background information on like stuff that you might not be privy to because they're either past events or they're conversations you weren't in the room for. And they help you kind of formulate an idea about like how these individuals were involved in the incident from 8 years ago. So, let's see. I think let's go with this one for right now.
次のゴケ会議にはエドワード。
Right.
お前にバーンスタイン家の代表として出てもらう。
And all the flashbacks are like staticky like this, which I think is an interesting touch for flashbacks.
承知しました。ですが、なぜこのタイミングなのです？
Poor baby.
むしろこれ以上のタイミングはなかろう。他の一族も代替わりが進んでいる。まさか自信がないとは言わないな。
Like, it's bad enough that he gets chewed out in front of other people, but like in private too.
もちろん申しません。任じられたからには立派に務めを果たしてみせます。
Poor baby.
我が一族で現状、私に次ぐ力を持っているのはお前だ。その意味が分かっているな。
はい。この国のすべての民と兵。
違う。
I feel bad for him. Like, this isn't fair. This isn't right. Like, he just wants love and to love people, and he just gets shit from his dad.
間違える。ゴケは女王陛下とこの国を守護するためのもの。すべての民を守る必要はない。
And like, especially for Edward, there's the concept of noblesse oblige, which is to do that the like, how do I describe it? Like, that the duty of the wealthy is to help out those less fortunate. And the only other time I'd ever heard that was in Eden of the East. So I was like, oh, I know what that means. And so Edward takes that very seriously. So he is always thinking of how he can improve things for Mingles and non-nobles in the country, while his dad is very much stuck on upholding the strict hierarchy of the country. And that puts them at odds a lot. And it puts Edward at odds with a lot of people, including some of the other love interests, because some of them aren't necessarily as invested in the people as they should be. And so it's really interesting to see it play out in the story. Oh, you're right, it was in Code Geass too.
父上、お言葉ですが、民あってこその国です。力ある者は弱き者を助ける義務があります。
Yeah, he's kind of fighting a losing battle here.
何度も言っているだろう。弱き者はこの国に不要だ。いい加減、その脆弱な考え方を捨てろ。
Poor baby.
それに今のお前に一体何ができてきて、ビビたる施しで何か国は変わったか。
No. Right. Like, he's like, have you actually done any real good? Have you made any changes? Like, you would think he would at least praise his son for trying, but no, this man is like, you've done nothing.
理想論を語ったところで何も変えられない。合計筆頭としての責務を果たすことだけを考えろ。
So mean.
この話は終わりだ。
Jesus! He's like, we're done. Get out. Jeez. This has to be Edmund's memory. I can sense concern for Edward. Those two have extremely different views. If the members of the five houses think like Edmund, though, they're all way too arrogant. In this country, nobles came in second only to the queen, with the heads of the five houses being in a league of their own. My family had been one of them too, once upon a time. My father, mother, and brother treated everyone equally. However, they never dismissed anyone just because they were weaker than themselves. There was no release for the anger and irritation that filled me. Edmund is Edward's dad. That's who he is. He's also a dope. All right, that's all the information that shard has. And essentially you just click the shards, see the memories, and play through them. And with this, I've checked all the shards I collected. Sure did. These memories may be fragments, but I'll try to remember all of them nonetheless, including the emotions I felt while watching them.
Ah, ちょうどいいところに。
What does Philip want?
俺、ニコラスさんに呼ばれてるんだけど、さっき旦那様にこの本を図書室へ戻すように頼まれちゃってさ。
Oh my gosh, I love this scene.
ニコラスさんの方はトラブルっぽい雰囲気だから早く行かないと怒られそうだし、悪いんだけど代わりに戻しておいてくれないかな。
Okay, so we have to return a book to the library. I wonder who we're gonna run into.
助かった。後でちゃんとお礼するよ。
Get out of here, Phil. This may be my chance. Even if someone finds me, I can just make the excuse that I'm there to return the book. Finding time for myself was challenging with a job like this. But if I use this as an excuse, I might be able to learn something about House Bernstein in the library. Then again, I'm not sure any documents stating who left the Bernstein mansion from my hometown 8 years ago even exist. If I could just find a single clue, that would be enough. I've memorized the general arrangement of the books and other documents, and since I can't stay long, I'll return the book first. I looked at the shelves. The books were sorted first by genre and second by alphabetical order. I noticed an empty space on the shelf that seemed to belong to the book. I doubted I could reach it, though, even if I stretched. I found a stepladder in the corner of the room and placed it in front of the bookshelves. I'm already halfway up the ladder, and I still can't reach it. I glanced at the towering bookshelves, then climbed to the very top of the ladder. Finally, I could reach. This should be good. Huh? My relief was short-lived. I must not have positioned the stepladder properly, for it wobbled the moment I put the book in place. I'm falling. It's not too far to the ground, but I shifted, figuring I wouldn't get hurt as long as I positioned myself properly. But then, huh?
大丈夫。
Edward! Edward to the rescue! Just like a fairy tale prince. He just shows up when you're falling, catching damsels in midair, snatching her out the air. The next moment, I found myself in someone's arms. It was so sudden. I had no idea what had happened. That's what I wanted to say, at least. It was difficult to really say that when we were so close and staring at one another, though. That someone was Edward. Apparently, he caught me when I fell off the ladder, much to my dismay.
間に合ってよかった。脚立ごと君が倒れそうになっているのを見て焦ったよ。
He is so sweet. He's just like, oh my God, thank God I made it in time. And she's like, oh my God, what are you doing? Thank you very much, Lord Edward. I appreciate your help. I couldn't tell him I could have managed on my own. Things will be easier if everyone views me as a fragile, harmless maid, but how would a frail maid respond in a situation like this? Judging by his gentle eyes and soothing tone, I doubted he had an ulterior motive. Nevertheless, we were so close that we could hear one another's breathing, and I even thought I could feel his heart beating. I want to tell him to let go of me, but I'm not sure if servants are allowed to make demands like that. She's like, I want him to put me down, but I don't know if I can say anything. This is the craziest conversation. In any other Otome game, they'd be like, oh my God, he caught me at the last moment. This is so romantic. And she's just like, please put me down.
失礼。こんな風に女性に触れるものではなかったね。
Not nice catch. It's like a high Q volleyball match and he's the libero. Nice save. Edward gave me a little space, ever the gentleman.
見たところ怪我はなさそうだけれど、どこか痛めたりはしてない？
I'm good, thanks. I'm fine, thank you. I added the thanks to you on purpose, thinking it would help make me sound more grateful. She is so calculated with how she speaks to them. It's really funny.
普段はぶしつけに女性へ触れたりはしないんだけれど、君が怪我をしないようにと考えたら、ああすることしかできなくて。
See, he's like immediately like, oh my god, I should not have touched you in such an intimate place, but you were falling, and I'm so sorry. Like, I love Edward. Like, it's really hard not to like Edward. And I thought I would find him annoying because he's just such a goody two-shoes, but like, it's really endearing and really sweet. The writers did a good job with him.
でも、君にとっては気分がいいものではなかっただろう。本当にごめん。
Oh, stork. Philip is indeed correct. He's the epitome of a fine young man, abounding with kindness. This only makes things harder for me. He was a true gentleman. He treated me as a woman rather than a servant, apologizing for touching me. Dealing with him would be harder than someone openly hostile. Hence, I ended the conversation quickly. I'm fine. There's nothing to be worried about. Well, then, I should return to my work.
ああ、待って。君とはちゃんと話したいと思ってたんだ。挨拶も途中になってしまったし。
She's like, I want to leave. And he's like, wait, what's your name? I blinked at the hand Edward held out to me.
改めて。ようこそ、バーンスタインへ。何か困ったことがあったら、遠慮せず相談するんだよ。
I love him.
それから、今度こそ、君の名前を聞いてもいいかな。
I love that she's been working here a week and he still doesn't know her name. It's crazy. His outstretched hand reminded me of yesterday, except it was just the two of us this time. No one was here to correct him. He blabbered about touching a woman rudely earlier, yet he offered a handshake so casually. His personality is troublesome too. If I refuse to shake hands, he may become even more concerned, thinking something is wrong. I quickly gathered my thoughts and accepted the hand Edward offered. My name is Rose Cottingley. Thank you for your concern, Lord Edward. I shall put in my best effort at work.
ローズ。いい名前だね。礼儀正しい有能な子だと聞いたよ。
They're having like two different conversations. It's so funny. His warm hand tightly grasped my own, and he gave me a bright, carefree smile. Edward tilted his head, still smiling. It only made me feel uncomfortable.
でもそんなにかしこまらないで。私は主人と使用にではなく、君たちと対等に会話したいんだ。
And she's like, no, I'd like to very much keep it professional with you, sir.
この屋敷に来てくれた歓迎の意味を込めて、私から一つ贈り物をしているんだけれど、君は今何か必要なものはあるかな？
No. Ah, this must be the custom Philip spoke of. I'm honored, but once again, I tried my hardest to avoid looking bad by refusing. Only I couldn't come up with anything I needed at the moment, no matter how hard I thought. There's nothing I want other than revenge. Like, I love sis. Like, she has got a one-track mind. She said, there's nothing I want other than revenge. Your head on a silver platter, please. My apologies, but I cannot think of anything. The man looked even more apologetic than I did when I reluctantly admitted this.
謝らないでいい。困らせるつもりで言ったんじゃないんだ。それに、急いで答えをもらおうとも思ってないよ。
He's just too good.
よければゆっくり考えてみて。また何日かしたら声をかけるから、思いついたものがあれば教えてほしいな。
I won't, but sure. Edward spoke cheerfully as he reached for the fallen stepladder.
これはもう使わない？
No, I'm good.
なら、私が起こしておくよ。君はもう仕事にお戻り。
Aw, thanks.
もし戻りが遅いと小言を言われたら、 私に本探しを手伝わされていたと言っていいよ。
Like, this is what I mean. Like, he is so overly helpful and friendly that I just kept expecting him to be like a secret villain. And Edward is literally just this nice. Like, he is just a good guy. Like, no ulterior motives, nothing. He's just, this is Edward. And that is so friggin' refreshing. Like, no craziness going on with this man. He is just sweet. I was the same way, Lee, but like I said, Edward is just, he is just that nice. Like, that's it. What you see is what you get with Edward. This is really hard. I heaved a sigh, though the reason was probably different than most women's, as I considered what awaited me.
あの新人やばいよ。
So, the big problem here is that Aprose is too good at her job, so now Evelyn and Charlotte are suspicious. They didn't seem to notice me and continued their quiet chat.
私も行動を読まれてるみたいで少し怖いなって思ったかも。
Another fun part about the common route is you don't really raise affection with the love interests in the common route. But you do have to raise trust with the other characters. So there are different opportunities and choices in the common route where you can do things for the other characters, particularly the side characters, and that raises their trust level. So it better integrates you into the household so you're less suspicious when you're snooping around and doing stuff. And I thought that was a really fun idea to add to the gameplay because a lot of Otome games will overlook the side characters. Like, they're not important to the plot outside of like a reveal at the end or something. So it's a really cool way to like include them in the gameplay early on before you dive into the main routes and have to like romance the guys. Do I need to connect with them better in order to achieve my goal? Yes, you do, sis. I want to ask John what I should do, but he'll probably worry about me again. I tried to figure out what to do myself, but sadly, I had no idea how to grow closer to girls my own age. Today was my long-awaited day off. Despite this, I didn't rush into the city excitedly. Instead, I visited a particular store on important business. I spotted the person I wanted to talk to at the back of the cluttered store. Hello, Goneril.
おや、久しぶりじゃないか。その様子じゃうまくやっていそうだね。
So, she is an information broker, and she is helping Aprose and John with their investigation and helping them get their revenge. So, occasionally throughout the story, Aprose will go to her shop to get more details on the guys and what's going on around them, if she needs help with whatever scheme she's doing this week. And I really like her as a character. She's very much a strong, independent woman who don't needs no mans. And she mostly interacts with John because John is working for her. That's kind of like his alias right now. And like, she's like an older sister to them. She teases them. She especially teases John because she peeps early on that John has a thing for Aprose, but doesn't say anything. So she's just like, that's rough, buddy. Every time Aprose gets close to another guy and John gets jealous, she's like, it's kind of rough. Your girl's getting snatched. And he's just like, shut up. Like, nobody wanted to talk to you about that crap.
と言いたいところだけど、お嬢ちゃんはジョン坊や以外には腹は
I
割ら
love
な
that she
い。
calls him John Boy, though. It's so disrespectful to this man. As soon as his name was mentioned, the second person I had wanted to meet up with entered the store, John.
お嬢、元気か？
I'm doing well, health-wise. I haven't seen any results from our infiltration plan yet, but I'll keep trying. And John's outfit was a choice. Like, the cowboy look. I don't know what this was or why it was a choice, but the cowboy hat is killing me. I hate it. I hate that hat so much. He just doesn't fit in with the rest of the story. The outfits are outrageous in this game. Some of them are. Some of them are fine, but John and Alfred look ridiculous.
ならちょうどいい。前に教えた5家の情報で追加が入ったんだよ。聞きたいかい？
Spill the tea. What's going on?
ああ、お嬢、大丈夫だ。
Oh, come
今
on.
その情
Shut
報
up,
分の
John.
働きを。
John took a banknote from his pocket and gave it to Goneril, who chuckled and gave her thanks before offering us chairs. Was that the money for the information? Thank you, John, as always.
別にどうってことないよ。それに、他の連中に売る代金よりも、俺たちには安価で売ってくれてるからな。
She likes you guys. John and I mentally prepared ourselves for the new information, but it seemed like she wanted to confirm something first.
さて、5家会議には各家の当主以外に次期当主や当主代理も参加するっていうのはこの間話したよね。
I do. It was brought up at the mansion too. The people you talked about before are definitely the attendees.
なら今日はもう少し突っ込んだところ、誰に近づけば有利に進められそうかって点に絞って人物像を教えておく。
お前は俺の心配なんかしなくていいから、自分の身の安全を第一に考えろ。
Like,
一番危険に身をさらしてるのはお嬢なんだからな。
John is the type of person who would literally lay his life on the line for you, and you'd be left crying because he's no longer there. Like, he would jump in front of a bullet for Aprose, and she's grateful to him, but she also doesn't like that he does that too. He's also like super like protective of her, and he's always like, are you eating properly? You need to be safe. You're being reckless. And she finds him kind of annoying. I kind of asked myself while I was playing, I was like, does she even like John? Because it doesn't feel like she likes John very much. I guess he'd never be able to face my brother if something were to happen to me. I appreciated his feelings and responded with honesty like usual. Saying this before parting ways had become a habit. I left the shop satisfied with the information I had learned, despite not quite understanding that last bit of our conversation. One day, about a month after I had arrived at House Bernstein, I found myself busy with that morning's work.
お客様は私が応接室までご案内するから、あんたはお茶の準備をお願いね。
Understood. My opportunity to meet the houses outside of Bernstein had finally come. Alfred and Linus would be visiting the mansion for a preparatory meeting before the Five Houses conference starting today. That sounds like a carriage. Either Alfred or Linus must be here already. I parted ways with Evelyn and headed to the kitchen. Then someone called to me from the top of the stairs.
おい、ローズ、ちょっと手を貸してくれよ。
I looked up to find Philip coming downstairs with a stack of documents taller than he was.
これ、応接室に運べってニコラスさんに言われたんだけど、さすがに量が。ってやべ。
You're about to meet another love interest! I'm excited. Before Philip could make it to the first floor, the stack teetered and plummeted to the bottom of the stairs. As papers landed on my head, I realized that someone else was in our midst. And it's Alfred! He looks so serious. Seeing him for the first time, I thought he looked grumpy, though I suppose being cheerful in this situation would have been strange. Despite the comical circumstances, the man in front of me seemed to be in a bad mood. It was like he had never smiled before. Like, that is crazy. He's got like permanent frown lines. Poor baby. Papers, hun. He has such pretty eyes. My apologies. It appears the documents I was supposed to collect fell from the second floor. I realized too late that the person who'd spoken didn't live in the Bernstein mansion. Alfred and Linus were supposed to arrive today. Is he? I recalled Goneril's information. The stern face didn't exactly make him look amiable. He was the perfect example of someone who looked difficult to approach. Lord Alfred Cresswell?
そうだ。案内も待たずに入って悪かったな。しかし、何度もここへは来ているが、こんな出迎えを受けるのは初めてだ。
He said, what the hell? My deepest apologies. I shall take you
い
too.
や、いい。
He is so blunt. I thought he was angry from the sharp way he cut me off.
これ
However,
を片付けるのが先だ。
oh,
私も手伝おう。
that's so sweet. He didn't smile or anything, but he didn't seem upset either. Rather, he took the initiative to lend us a hand. His serious nature was made evident in the way he carefully collected the scattered documents. I was surprised that Alfred and Edward didn't look down on servants and even helped them out. Nonetheless, it lined up with Goneril's information. Thank you very much. Being sincere will certainly work on someone like him. He shouldn't harbor any ill will towards the serious maid. She's so calculating. She's like, if I'm like this, he'll like me more, and then I can get closer to him, and then I can manipulate him.
申し訳ないです、アル様。やらかしたのは俺なんです。
And then here comes Phil. He's like so informal with everybody.
見ればわかる。気をつけろよ。
あーはい。あとは俺がやるんで、彼女に案内を。
応接室なら場所を把握しているから大丈夫だ。名前
Yes.
は
I love that everybody immediately wants to know her name when they see her. What's your name? You fine. My name? It's Rose.
ではローズ。ライナスを見かけたら応接室に来るよう伝えてくれ。
Okay. Following his businesslike remark, Alfred quickly walked off. Philip sighed heavily once the figure disappeared from sight.
助かった。書類をばらまいた相手が旦那様だったら相当やばかったな。
This is dork. Lord Alfred seems kind.
あ、君もそう思う？アル様は厳しい方だけど、俺たちを顎で使ったり、理不尽なことは言わない方なんだ。
I love that that was her takeaway. He's like, oh, he's so nice.
今みたいにさりげなく手を貸してくれるしね。そういうところをエド様も慕ってるんだろうな。
Yeah, he is so serious. It's really hard to get a good read on him. When Edward's name was brought up, I realized this was a good chance to gather information. I cautiously asked a question. You said Lord Edward admires Lord Alfred. Does that mean the two are good friends?
仲がいいというには年が離れてるけど、エド様はアル様を五家の当主のあるべき姿として見習ってるって感じかな。
Kind of like a mentor and mentee. Because, like, Edward is 24, I think, 24, 25. And Alfred's 30. So, like, they're not even in the same real generation.
アル様もエド様を嫌ってはいないと思うよ。
Actually, I think
ここに
Ed
も
is
よく来るしね。
younger. Yeah, I think Ed is like 20. No. I think he's like 23. I think he's 23.
あ、そうそう。エド様と仲がいいといえば、ライナ様の方かな。年も近いし、子供の頃からの付き合いらしいから。
They're best friends.
と、仕事に戻るか。俺もライナ様を見かけたら声をかけておくよ。
Okay. Thanks. I gathered one piece of information after another. Now I take my time choosing what card I should play to achieve my goal. After I finished my tasks indoors, I set about cleaning the garden. I figured I should clean outside while I had time since Alfred, one of our guests, was already holding a meeting in the mansion. Is something over by that shaded tree? I approached what seemed to be a large object lying by a tree. As soon as I realized it was actually a person, the back of my hand started throbbing. Oh no.
ねえ、俺、君。
I held my trembling head and tried to steady my breath. For a moment, I was overwhelmed by the same sensation I'd experienced when I first arrived at the mansion. Why is my Faceite hand acting up now? Of all times, I haven't touched anything. And what even was that? I wondered if it was something from my own memories. It had ended so quickly that I barely remembered what I had seen earlier. I believe that was my hometown. If this person was the reason my Faceite hand activated. He does have a pretty voice. He might be an important individual connected to the incident 8 years ago. I peered at him cautiously. It's a baby boy. Look at him, he's sleeping. He's so sleepy. Ooh. The young man was curled up peacefully as he basked in the sun, showing no signs of waking. He looked so simple and innocent, like some sort of defenseless animal soaking up the sun. Like, so rude. He kind of reminded me of a dog. I blurted it out without thinking, but it fit him perfectly. Cats basked in the sun more often, but a dog felt better suited somehow. I muttered this to myself, realizing this wasn't what I wanted to recall, when the boy suddenly opened his eyes. He's so cute. Before I knew it, his hand had captured mine. He looks golden retriever coded. That would be kind of accurate. I hadn't been being careless. He was surprisingly agile for someone who'd just woken up. I couldn't have avoided him. My name is Rose. That's what? I like the little leaf on his hair. It's so cute. You're holding my hand? Good question. Very good question. I believe so. He let go of me surprisingly quickly, and I adjusted my posture. I was relieved that there was some distance between us now, but he leaned in close once again, staring directly at me. His searching eyes looked friendly, and yet they had the sharpness of a wild animal to them, perceptive and alert. No, I don't think so. Oh my god. This is Linus. This is one of the love interests. He's so sweet and just awkward. There's no need for that. I'm all right. More importantly, I felt like he could see through my dark desire if he were to keep staring at me like that. So I decided to talk instead. Are you Lord Linus, perhaps? I just know of you. I simply assumed since Lord Alfred has already arrived. Lord Alfred asked me to pass a message on to you if I happen to see you. Lord Linus, he wanted you to come to the drawing room. Linus looked perplexed. It seemed like he had completely forgotten about the meeting and then had fallen asleep. He looked embarrassed, but not frustrated. Aww. Linus's smile looked unnatural for some reason. I doubted he'd go right away, as he'd claimed. Regardless, my job here is done. Restless, I cleaned the place up a little and decided to leave. So, in this scene, some other maids are picking on Charlotte, and we see it happening from a distance, and we can either help her or we can let it go. And Charlotte is just so sweet. Letting people mess with Charlotte is just rude. Like, how could you be mean to Charlotte? She's so innocent and sweet. Like she does nothing to no one. And then she just takes it. The poor girl. I just want to like hug her, protect her. Should I interfere and help her? I may be able to gain Charlotte's trust if I make a move. It was calculating, But Evelyn and Charlotte still kept their distance from me after all. After some thought, I decided I'm gonna help her out because then I can show you the trust thing. So we're gonna make a move. I should win her over. And that's what happens when you raise trust with a character. It gets a little indicator, just like a love catch, but this is just building trust with a character so that you feel more at home in the Bernstein mansion. But like I said, it's a really fun touch because it makes you feel more invested in the side characters because you have to interact with them and you do have to get them to like you. It may not be romance, but still making friends is an integral part of playing these types of games. Good for them. I hope that was wonderful for you. Y'all are being nasty. Now y'all look as nasty as y'all were being. My apologies, my hand slipped. I love her for this. She's just like, whoops, it was an accident. We're the rude ones? Y'all were talking shit. After losing their tempers at my stoic expression, they threw that parting shot and quickly left. So this is an interaction with John and a CG. Aprose is sent out on an errand and she stops by a bookstore. This is where she goes to meet up with John throughout the story so that they can share intel without it looking weird that they're meeting up, because if she meets up with him too often, it'll be very suspicious. Only one customer was inside. Meeting them was the whole reason I'd come here. This is such a boring CG. They're not suspicious of me, not yet. I love how he reads her so easily. He's like, oh yeah, so what you mean to say is you actually messed up, but they just haven't caught on yet. Good luck. Take it however you like. And just to be clear, I didn't make any big mistakes. I stood beside John as we whispered back and forth, pretending to browse the books. One thing I do like about her interactions with John is, with the other love interests, she always kind of has her guard up. But with John, she's more herself. So you see her bantering back and forth with him. You see her joking and laughing with him. She even smiles with him, which is something she doesn't do with the other guys until like quite a ways into their routes. So it's kind of refreshing to see her be more lighthearted with John, even though she's plotting murder. I didn't even need to look at John to know the expression he wore. I've amazed you, haven't I? John's worrying and coldness were nothing new, but there was a hint of concern in his words that made me look at him. He really does care about her. He's just like, I want you to be safe. Don't worry, you might not be able to help me immediately, but you'll come eventually, won't you? And the fact that she trusts him implicitly like this is super sweet too. On second thought, knowing that you want to save me is more than enough to keep me going in that mansion, even if you can't come rescue me. That's how much I trust you, John. You've always protected me, even when you say you're just a substitute for my brother. Aww. What's wrong? I repeated myself, curious about his tone. However, he looked away and shook his head slightly, brushing the question off. Aww. Aww.
そろそろ時間だな。別れる前にもう一度だけ言っておく。バーンスタインに5家が集まり始めた。これからが本番だ。絶対にお前の正体を悟られないようにしろよ。
John's love language is be careful. That's how he says I love you. He's like, be careful. Are you eating? I know.
お嬢が生きていると分かったら、 今度こそその身が危うい。
Aww. If they find out you're still alive, my heart ached, hearing those words, and I couldn't help but think about those who had died. I understand, but the thing is, we're still lacking the information we need to accomplish our goal. I need to be prepared to make my move, even if it's dangerous. I declared determined. John looked like he wanted to say something, but I exited the store, leaving him behind. What's going on? It's awfully noisy. I wonder who could be the cause of the commotion. As soon as I started tidying the garden, I heard a high-pitched feminine voice. Is Charlotte being bullied again? Curious, I decided to seek out the sounds. Instead of the blonde girl, I found a dandy man surrounded by numerous maids. He smiled gracefully.
アスコット様、今日のお召し物も素敵ですね。そのデザインはとつくねのものですの？
God.
アスコット様の妖艶な佇まいによくお似合いですわ。
He reminds me a lot of Alan from Cupid Parasite. And like, they're both flirty characters, but there's definitely more to them than meets the eye. And once you get to know them, you kind of see that they're not really the playboys you initially think they are. So I was genuinely surprised by Ascot. I usually do not like flirty characters, but I absolutely adored this man. He was so wonderful and fun. Like, he's so sweet.
ありがとう。君たちの装いも素敵だけれど、どちらかというと私は服の下に隠されている美しい死体に興味があるな。
Oh my god.
嫌ですわ。アスコット様ったら。もうこうやって何人の女性を泣かせてきたんですか？
Thirsty as hell.
でも泣かされてみたいわ。
That's Ascot, no doubt. His words and actions were more than enough to tell who he was, though the maids had also said his name. I'd like to talk to him, though. Now might not be a good time. I was about to leave, figuring that I wouldn't get any of the information I was after by joining in. Oh. I'd been convinced Ascot hadn't noticed me, but the man suddenly looked at me.
さて、私はそろそろ行かなければいけないようだ。お迎えが来たからね。
Oh, okay. Ascot walked straight towards me after saying goodbye to the maids, who didn't want him to leave. Is he talking about me? Maybe he's misunderstood something. I was clearly not here to guide guests anywhere. What with the broom and dustpan in hand. Yet Ascot stopped right in front of me.
こんにちは。美しいお嬢さん。
Ew, gross. He stared at me as he greeted me. He had red and purple eyes that exuded a bewitching charm, able to seduce those around him. Is it me, or did his eyes just get darker? With lust? I blinked at my odd discovery, then Ascot jerked away, as if repelled by something good.
なるほど。美しい花にはトゲが隠されていたか。
Okay, there's something, a friend of mine who knows Japanese and played the game, they did tell me about something specific with Ascot and the way that he speaks. When Ascot is bullshitting and just like being a tool, he speaks with more of a feminine like affect to his voice. But when he's being serious, he speaks more masculine. And I had picked up that something was different with the way he was talking, but I didn't know what it was because I don't really know Japanese. And knowing that is actually really interesting because it's like when he's trying to like get one over on you, he's being playful. He's trying to come off unassuming and like he's trying to give bottom energy is the best way to describe it. And when he's being serious, he's kind of asserting his authority a bit more, which is why he speaks more masculine. So, like, you can kind of see that here. Like, how he was talking with the ladies and how he was flirting with her earlier. And then, like, when that, like, shock happened, he was like, oh, I see. Something's going on here. So it's interesting to look out for that when you're playing the game to see like if you can tell when he's lying and when he's telling the truth. What's he going on about? I backed away slowly, suspicious. I knew it was rude, but I was trying to run away from him. It also explains why Aprose gets so pissed off with him when she's talking to him. Because when he's flirting with her, she can tell he's bullshitting. Like, she can tell he's full of it based on how he's talking to her. It's very patronizing, I guess, in her eyes. So she gets easily frustrated with it. But when he's like serious, she's like paying attention more. However, his hand caught my own before I could take a single step. Oh no, I let my guard down. Does he think I'm suspicious too? A smile was still on his lips, but his eyes seemed feverish, and he seemed to be searching for something. I was rooted to the spot, wondering what he'd say next. Ascot gently lifted my hand. And then... Yes, it's very much like karma in Cinderella Phenomenon. That flirty character that you never know if they're really being truthful or if they're just full of it. But when they're really serious, it's like, look out, you're screwed, kind of thing. I stared at Ascot with a blank expression, not having expected this turn of events.
私もまだまだだね。まさか眉一つ動かしてもらえないなんて。
I love how he's like laying it on super thick and she's just like, look at him like, are you done? Ascot's sudden burst of laughter left me baffled, and I couldn't manage much of a response. Calling out to me and kissing my hand, is that just his personality? I understand why people say he's a ladies' man. It irritated me, but I now understood why Goneril was worried. I didn't know much about this sort of thing, just as I wondered how to respond.
ところで、君は誰と契約しているのかな?
Oh. Oh. My heart almost stopped at the question, but I managed to come up with an answer befitting of a maid and managed to remain emotionless. House Bernstein. I am employed as a maid at this mansion.
Oh. 君が噂の.
The what? Rumored what? That's not suspicious at all. He wore a subtle smirk, and my wariness grew as he continued his enigmatic act. Then he let go of my hand.
有能なメイドが入ったと聞いているよ。名前を聞いても?
He's like, what's your name, sis? I'm Rose.
Rose. ではそのうちまたゆっくり話そう。私はそろそろ行かないと怒られてしまいそうだ。
Aw, bye. His smile widened when he bid me goodbye. Then he turned, elegant as ever, and left. Why in the world does he want to talk to me? My suspicions deepened. I was wary of him, and not just because being overly friendly with women came naturally to him. The alarm bells going off in my head told me that much at least. By that afternoon, the representatives of each house had finally arrived. I escorted Lucas Sullivan, the last of them, to the hall where the others waited.
やあ、ルー君。残念ながら私たちは締め出されてしまったよ。
He's so disrespectful. Ascot was seated at the front of the hall when we arrived. He seemed cheerful, not a hint of disappointment on his face.
どういうことだ?
It's my baby boy. Look at him. He's so cute. And dumb. Ah, I love him.
先に着いた3人での話し合いが難航しているから、私たちのことはキリのいいところで呼ぶそうだよ。
He is so sad.
この分だと、今日のところはお役御免かな。
He wants to be anywhere but in this conversation, and I feel so bad for him.
ふざけた話だ。こっちは今日来いと言われたから来たんだぞ。そういうことなら僕は帰らせてもらう。あいつらには来てほしいなら家まで呼びに来いと伝えておけ。
He's like, can I go home now, please? Lucas had been quiet and avoided eye contact when I first met him, so I'd assumed he was reserved. However, it seemed he was very vocal when he had something to say, and he made no effort to hide his irritation. I guess he was talking to me just now. I wasn't positive, as he'd yet to make eye contact, but I was the only servant here. However, I could easily see myself getting scolded if I were to send a guest home without permission. I need to ask Nicholas. Just as I was about to find the butler and let him decide what to do, a strangely calm voice interrupted.
あらあら、何の騒ぎ？
I think we can skip a little bit. There's like a specific scene I want to see. Okay. I was about to knock a second time when I realized the door hadn't been closed properly. Before I knew it, I slipped inside. I sensed a presence within the room despite the silence. I couldn't hear a single sound. Is he asleep? I stepped further inside and found Lucas in a chair with his eyes closed, just as I'd expected. He might be upset with me for making tea without him asking for any. I tried to leave quietly, but I stumbled and jostled the tableware. Oh, he was sleeping. Did I wake him? I heard a faint noise and turned to Lucas. It was then that I glimpsed something hanging around him. Was that my imagination? I doubt it. I was sure I'd seen something. I inched closer and squinted. The back of my hand grew warmer, then... Oh, his precious stupid face! I love him so much. Sorry. I'm sorry, I really like Lucas. He is so sweet. He's so cute. Every time I see his stupid face, I'm just like, that's my boy. I screwed up. I can't make up any excuses. I entered the room without permission. Lucas stood so quickly, he knocked over the chair. I panicked, thinking I'd upset him. There was nothing I could do aside from apologize, so I did just that. My deepest apologies for interrupting your sleep. Lucas didn't say a word, not even after my apology. He's just staring. Is he angry or not? He'd thrown a tantrum in the hallway, so I'd expected to be scolded much the same way, but he didn't say a single word, lost in thought. I'm really sorry for barging in. I prepared some tea for you, so feel free to have some if you'd like. Unable to bear the silence, I apologized again and turned to leave. Then something happened. A sharp pain ran through my shoulder. By the time I realized Lucas had grabbed me, the man had already spun me around. Ooh, he's so pretty. His eyes were desperate, as was his grip on my shoulder. Both were so strong they hurt. He hadn't looked at me once earlier, but he was staring wide-eyed now. I couldn't help but notice how clear his eyes were, even though it wasn't really the time for such things. What does he want? The look he had made me think he wanted to say something important, but I had no idea what that could possibly be. I would never know unless he opened his mouth. I love how every guy, the first thing they say when they meet her is, "What is your name?" Shawty, what your name is? Sorry. The question he finally asked was a surprisingly simple one. All he wanted was my name. I feel like he wants to say more, but I could be reading too much into it. I doubted he'd add anything more, so I answered. My name is Rose. Now he's silent again. I sighed internally, when I realized he was lost in thought once more. I wanted to leave, but he had an iron grip on my shoulders. Suddenly, I remembered what had happened earlier. That thing I saw near him, I should be able to tell whether or not I was imagining things from this distance. I didn't notice anything, however, not even after looking closely.
引き止めて悪かったな。
Oh.
しかし、バーンスタインのメイドは勝手に客のいる部屋へ入るのか?
And now he's scolding me. Say my name, say my name. No one's around me. Say, baby, I love you. Right, that's how it is. Lucas finally let go of me and started hurling harsh words instead. I am terribly sorry about that. I apologize once again. No good would come of this if I stayed any longer. My eyes met Lucas's again as I tried to leave. He looked surprisingly calm. Pour me some tea. Lucas sank back into the chair, then glanced at the tea set I'd brought. He doesn't seem mad. He was difficult to understand, and he wasn't the sort who got along with others easily. Despite that, he wasn't the sort of nobleman who was harsh with his servants, just like the other four. All right, I think that's a good place. This may be a good chance to gather more information, which means we are going into another exploration, which I'm not about to do. This is a good stopping place. We met all of the love interests. We got to see the introductions to each of the characters we romance in the game. We saw a bit of the gameplay mechanics as well, from the exploration to the shards, where you look back at the future and use her powers. We did have a couple of choices that we got to answer. So a lot of good things. But thank you all so much for coming through and watching me play Mistonia's Hope, The Lost Delight. I hope that if you are embarking on your journey with the game today, that you have a lot of fun, because I really like this game. It is so much fun. It is so good. This is easily one of my favorite releases of the year, which doesn't say much because the games that came out this year are kind of but this is one of my favorite Otome games now. This is one of my new favorite Otome games. It is so good. I love all the characters. I actually liked the finale. It was actually really good. Like, I cannot recommend playing Mistonia's Hope anymore. It is so, so good. Like, chef's kiss. Good. All right, y'all. Thank you all so much for coming through. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods, and I will catch you all next time. All right, y'all. Bye!